All right, so I'm going to officially get started. It's 101. We're super excited to be here. We worked with Dr. Laredo to put together a 2-hour training for the Trinity River campus where we really talked through this experiential playground of Microsoft Teams. I think it's safe to say that we've all been learning through osmosis, and we've been learning through trial and error as we have gone home since March and through the pandemic have worked in this virtual setting. And MS Teams was just the tool that became the one we were going to use. It was in a beta testing stage with some work groups at Tarrant County, and so at Tarrant County College. So it's important for me to explain to you all that while we weren't quite ready to use it, it was coming along anyways. We just sort of had it happen quicker than we anticipated. And so one thing I want you all to think about when we talk about MS Teams is this idea that Teams is now our internal communication tool among work groups, okay? So it's really important that you all get that MS Teams is now our internal communication tool, and we think of Outlook as our external communication tool. So as we get started, we're really wanting you all to embrace this new way at TCC and to think through this idea that Teams is not something we're just using while we're working from home, that when we do return to work, it will still be a platform that we rely on heavily and that we use for all sorts of different types of function as we go through the training. So really quick, I want to take a moment to introduce the professional development team. We're not all here today. Today it's myself and Jennifer Benson, who I'll give the floor to in a moment to introduce herself. But I just want you to know the faces and of our team. I think it's such a privilege and an honor to work in the professional development department because we get to just listen, anticipate, and design and customize trainings that help each of you do your jobs better. So that's what our purpose is, and it's so much fun to do that. So if you ever have ideas, if you ever have concerns, if you ever have thoughts about how we can better manage that and to make that happen for each of you, please know you can reach out at any time. Again, my name is Judith Dumont, and I am the Director of PD, and I have been with TCC now since March 2nd. So almost 6 solid months with the institution and about 10 days before we got sent home. So a lot of my getting to know yous have happened in this setting, and I'm really excited to showcase all the different things that we've learned to help you all do your jobs better. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Jennifer Benson and let her introduce herself.
Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Benson, and before I do that, I did see Sammy put in a question about, can someone please get the interpreter on the screen? Okay, so this is what we are.
I got it, Jen, I'll show her.
Okay. And they may not see the interpreter at the bottom, so can you also show them with attendees?
Yes, okay, so good point. I'll click on show participants. I don't know it just says coordinator. You're a guest interpreter. I don't know your name. I wish I could tell them your name.
It'll be by coordinator.
Okay, so it'll be coordinator with guest on the side. So what you do if you would like to pin the person, which means to hold their picture still the whole time we're meeting, you will click on this ... and click pin. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So you'll notice now, no matter who I click on, even if I click down here, it's holding her very still and steady so that she's always in the screen, okay? Now, just because I'm going to be demonstrating other things, I'm going to click on that. Oh wait, there it goes. There's the pin. I'm sorry, I had to pull her over. So do you see this little tack right here? So now she's pinned. No matter what I do, she's going to be held at the center of the screen so that you can always see what's happening. And this was a really important step in understanding accessibility with MS Teams. Now, just because I'm going to be demonstrating a lot of stuff, I'm going to unpin her, which you can then click on those 3 dots and make that happen again, okay? Any other questions about that?
I have also placed it in the chat.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to make sure I can see the interpreter, but not the PowerPoint. Please hold. Okay. Let's see. Why can't you see both? It should pin.
We are holding Sammy.
She's correct. It does pull up just Courtney.
I do know you can pin up to 4 things at a time on MS Teams, so you might have to pin the screen. I don't know if you can pin me.
I'm going
I
to
don't know.
type that in the box.
Okay.
And
you all, there is a way to have the interpreter right next to the slides when you're in an MS Teams live event. So I'm wondering, Sammy, if you were participating in a webinar style training versus a meeting where there was an interpreter next to the slides. In MS Teams meetings, it's a little bit different because there is a way in live events that you can hold the 2 still.
But I believe I'm trying something right now. Okay, I'm going to type it in again. If you pin Judith Dumont and the interpreter, you will see both.
So pin, and you can pin up to 4 people at a time. So you might want to pin myself and then also pin the interpreter. And again, I'm Judith Dumont. You'll see me in the show participants. If you're not quite sure how to show the participants, you click on this little people icon right here. Does this make sense? So I would click here. I would click on my name.
See the interpreter, so I'm trying to type it at the same time.
Okay.
That makes worse. Seeing both.
Lindsay just said she noticed that when I put into the full screen mode, she can see all. So maybe try that. Thank you all for your patience. It's really important that we know everyone can fully participate. Yeah, come on board, Sammy. We'd love for you to.
Okay, sorry.
No, please do. We would.
So our deaf persons cannot see, especially trying to watch chat. So now everything is filled with a giant chat box, the presentation, and they can't tell what you're saying because they can't see the interpreter at all.
Okay.
So there's supposed to be a way that they can pin the interpreter and see the presentation, but it's not working. So they don't know what you're saying to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't follow it, and so that's where we're stuck.
I'm gonna type it in chat, so if everybody else can hold out a chat for a minute, so I can get them all set.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna try to they're texting me at the same time, so I'm gonna let them know to watch what you type.
Thank you for helping us, Sammy. And
thank you, Sammy.
Stay on. If they can let you know or let us know when they can see both, that way I can make sure that everybody is all set.
Thank you both for your help. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And again, I need to be quiet, don't I?
Okay, Sammy, I put the directions in there. Can you let me know when they have communicated that they can see them? Okay.
Yes, I'm waiting for a response now. I'm also texting with the interpreters. Give me just a second.
Okay.
They seem to not be able to see the interpreter at the moment to find them to pin. Hold on just a second.
Okay. I'm going to do something really quickly. Judith, can you take a print screen of what the scroll bar looks like and highlight the participant? area because my print screen's not working.
And then drop it in the chat.
Yes, please.
They're saying that the interpreter disappears every time they try to click on the chat.
Really?
This might sound like a bizarre question, Sammy, but does she have more than one screen, or he?
There are 3 deaf participants that are on at the moment with us.
Got it.
So I don't know all of their situations. I think some do and some don't.
Can you text them and see if they have their screen full, the MS Teams full screen, or if it's minimized?
Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Judith, can you drop that in?
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Okay, I've sent that to them, and some of them are getting the typing in the chat box.
Okay.
I just saw found it. The interpreter will just
Okay, hold on. I need to reach out to one of the participants.
Okay. Why is it disappearing?
Hold on just a moment, please. I have one person that's been able to pin, but not the other 3. So hold on just a second. She's trying to tell them what to do.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We've had constant problems with Microsoft Teams
Okay.
with interpreters, and so this has been an important one for us to have them do the training on to be sure that we're on the same level with everybody else. And so
no, absolutely.
Sorry for the delays.
No, don't be sorry. We need to make sure that all of you can fully participate. That's what we want.
Yeah, and also I would say we are exploring this. So we have a channel for accessibility with MS Teams. So what we're learning right now is helping us. So thank you.
And if you need feedback, please put that when the interpreter is visible or in the chat, please let them know that at the end, because that will be meaningful for them as deaf persons to give that feedback.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, it looks like we're getting there. Hang on.
Woohoo!
All right.
Seems like at some points they're seeing the interpreter or the PowerPoint, but not both. So that they pin the interpreter, the PowerPoint goes away. If they unpin the interpreter, then they don't have the interpreter, they only see the PowerPoint. So that's why we're having a hard time, is that if you're going to be showing how to click on things and what to do, they need to see both the interpreter and the PowerPoint.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them just to respond yes or no in the chat on that.
Okay.
This has been a constant presentation of problems for us to try to do any meetings because we have 12 deaf faculty and staff. And so they can't participate in meetings when you have.
Oh, it's frustrating.
You know, it just doesn't work the same way that Zoom or some of the other platforms do that allows for synchronous or easily pinned interpreters that let you see all the screen and then that. So we're hoping that gets rectified.
I see what they're struggling with right now. Okay, I'm gonna ask another question. Can you?
So she sent me a picture of the comment about the so what if she has pinned the interpreter, the PowerPoint that we see is down where your pictures are in the small thing, right. And that's how big the whole PowerPoint is.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and she's probably on a laptop. Makes it really small.
I think she may have a bigger screen. Let me check.
I have a 27-inch monitor, and I have the same problem. Okay. I've got an idea.
Jennifer, I saw your comment about wondering about the phone, but the phone makes it micro small. So we're in a much smaller environment then, right, and in a much more difficult situation.
Could you put the interpreter there where they might be able to, I don't know, or if they have a Surface or another laptop. I'm trying to think of a Band-Aid solution, to be honest.
Okay, hold on, let me see, just a second.
Sorry. And I'm looking while we do this.
It's all good. We're gonna get through together.
I'm Googling on my phone too, if you all see me looking down. Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Thank you all for your patience. And just know, for everyone else attending and also for all of our people, we have a recorded training of this. So anything we don't get to today, we can send an MP4 and you'll get the same amount of topics. So we have a backup plan. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree, Melanie. Thank you.
It's great information because we have a lot of deaf students that this will apply
Yes.
to as well.
Yes.
I've sent it to them and I'll take just a minute.
Sammy, this is Angela. If this would be a temporary fix, I could set up a Zoom meeting through our iPad that others could join, the deaf participants could join, so they could see the PowerPoint on their computer and then the Zoom meeting maybe on a secondary device. I don't know.
That might be that might be a temporary fix. Angela, so we have that recorded on how we fix this. Can you put that in the chat right now so that they can see what to do? Can you add it to chat right now? Or do you have that access?
Yes, so you want me to go ahead and create a Zoom meeting and put that in the chat box?
I think we may have to do that just to get by right now.
Okay, let me do that real quick.
I don't want to have to hold up, but I think it's a great opportunity for instructors to also see that deaf students will have this same issue. Yes.
I remember reading somewhere you can split your screen, but that's what I'm.
It has to initiate with the presenter, is my understanding, when it's setting up, so that the screen can be split. It can't initiate from the participants.
Got it. We've talked a lot about the fact that with MS Teams, there's just a lot of grace. That's the word of 2020, I think. But this is so important for us to figure out. So thank you all so much for walking us through it.
I am also going to put this out to our accessibility allies in Microsoft Teams to see if they know of anything and see if we can get this rectified.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Of course. I'm going to attach the resources I have for accessibility really fast. I don't know if this will help.
Thank you, Judith.
Sure. Oh, I see that. Mark Anderson saying, suggestion, click on the small PowerPoint image. I did so, and the pinned interpreter became small while the PowerPoint became bigger, so that the interpreter was sort of kicked down into the smaller square, so that the content was larger than the interpreter, but could follow along with both.
I think they're probably over in the other link. Hold on.
Got it. No worries. But as we all listen and learn, for future, this might be great for us to experiment with.
And for them too, if they're watching small, like if I look at you in the small screen where if you were interpreting, I couldn't read your finger spelling. I couldn't see your signs. So it's if I turn the volume down to a whisper, that's what all the participants would get for what the deaf people get in this small square.
There is another option, and I don't know how you all feel about closed captioning, but you can turn on closed captioning in Teams. But it's just, for me, I find it hard to.
Well, and it's also when you're doing this training and you're trying to learn how to do it for yourself in your first language, because ASL is a very different grammar structure from English. So when you're trying to get the language most readily accessible so you can use it for your work and your job, you want to take that in instead of trying to read and look up and down and restructure that. So hopefully we'll get it done, because many deaf students, they are heavily dependent on their interpreter to really process and understand the information. And reading it in a second language does not always translate as well, especially idiomatic language, those type things.
Thank you for that. That helps a lot too. Okay.
Okay, coordinator's saying that she does have the Zoom meeting up with the interpreter.
Great. Thank you.
In the meantime, would you all like to meet my coworker? He wants to say hi. He really wants some film time today. This is my coworker. He's happily starting 4th grade tomorrow. Melanie Teeters has given a thumbs up.
We have one person still struggling. I'm going to work with them while you guys go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for your patience. We are going to go ahead and get started. Jennifer, do you want to introduce yourself really quickly? I think that's where we pause.
So I'm Jennifer Benson. I'm the coordinator of online professional development. I've been with TCC for just shy of 7 years now. So I work with a lot of the webinars, the Learn Center, the compliance training, and performance reviews is my area.
Excellent. Okay, so I do see that Cheryl Turner's having trouble hearing. I can say I have not muted you all, so you should be able to hear me. So I hope that can be fixed. You might play with your microphone or your headset, or maybe unplug and plug it back in. All right, so we are going to get started. We've got about 90 minutes, which is fine. We can totally do this in 90 minutes. What we're going to do is boil it down a little bit and know that I've given you the entire PowerPoint so that at any point you have a guide you can go back and work through with this. Also know, as part of today's training, you have each been added. I'm going to show you this now.
I'm still adding.
By the end of today's training, each of you will be added. Let me show you this really fast. I pulled the wrong tile over. This is what I meant to bring over. You will each be added. I'm going to go to this Teams really quick. And the irony in all this is that I have an accessibility channel, but I'm not sure we're experts on it yet. So here, you'll each have access to this new MS Teams tile. You'll notice that we have all these different topics in here that will give you a lot of information, a lot of training resources, the PowerPoints. We've even added in some short videos for you all so that after today's training, if you still have more questions, you have a space to go to where you can access this information. It's really important to us that you know that just because the training stops, we don't go away. We're here to help you. We're here to serve you. We're here to support you. So do know you will have access to all of this. Just so you know, because I know this is an important group, we do have some files here for accessibility that we've put together. I'm going to pull this up right here. I did drop this into the chat, but just because I felt like it was more helpful, there's an accessibility webinar for MS Teams that's a whole hour long that you can watch here, and then also a video with an ASL interpreter. So I encourage you all, once you get into this channel, to check this out. And I really want to put this ask out there. If you all have other resources or other information that could benefit us, we're always building this Teams channel, and we would love to have anything you all have to add to it. So thank you so much for understanding on that, because I think it's important that you all know that we do have a place that all of our training resources will be today. When I was looking at the screen, I noticed that when we dropped the chat in to kind of see where we were at, we had a user average score of about 3 to 5 on MS Teams. And so it's really important to me that you all know that these are going to be the topics that we look at today. We're going to look at communication. We're going to look at meetings and calendars. We're going to look at records, files, and management. And then also just a few tips, tricks, and hacks that can really be beneficial for you all to add a few personal bells and whistles into your platform to make the MS Teams work better for you according to your daily work. And so our overall goal is to make you that MS Teams rock star. So really quick, I'm going to skip a few of these questions. We're going to talk through what this screen is right here. So when you look at this screen, when you log into MS Teams, this is going to be what you see. And I know this can feel a little overwhelming. There's a lot of different things to push, a lot of different things to sift through. And so what we have done in this training here is we want to outline what we call the me space versus the we space. All right. And so for the me space, it's sort of like an XY graph. All of the stuff going down from top to bottom, I just said that backwards, is going to be things that are customized for you specifically. And then everything working across from left to right is what we call the we space, and that's going to be what's shared. So as you're looking inside the platform, I want you to think about that you can customize all of your applications on your app bar. You also have different teams and different subchannels that you're a part of. So all of this is really your me space, whereas everything from here on over is the we area. And we say that because you have these different tabs that you click on. You have postings and chat lines. So everything inside this middle ground is what we call the canvas. Know this is a collaborative shared space that you cohabitate with your team members based on whichever tile you're in. Okay. And so we do have, I'm going to drive through this really quick to kind of narrow it in. Again, this is bird's eye view. This right here is going to be where your Teams channels are, where the apps bars are. And then you've got the actual applications, which we can actually pin. Let me show you how this works. I'm actually going to bring my screen over for a moment because I think it's really important that you all know that I'm going to blow this up for a second. This right here, you all have full control over. You can accommodate this to what your needs are. You'll notice that I have specifically picked certain apps to be pinned to my bar that I use every single day. And what you'll notice is if I click on this and hover, I can drag and drop it. It's kind of like a tab bar on your smartphone, how you can rearrange applications. And then you can add and remove different things as well. So if I wanted to take activity off, I can right click on that and click unpin, right? And that just went away. But if I wanted to add that, I can click on this ... right click and then pin it back. I also love forms. Forms is something I use quite a bit, so I can click on that. Oh, that's not letting me pin it. Oh wait, I did not mean to do that. Well, okay. Nope, didn't mean to do that. But here I can go to some of these other ones. For example, some of us are using shifts, which is going to be our work schedule. So there, if you right click there, you can also pin it to the bar. If you're using Teams for your classrooms, you can click on assignments and pin there, or if you're a student. So all of this is completely custom. You can customize it for your own settings. So the app bar is really, really important. And again, know that you can move that around and make it work for you. All right. And then as we're going through this, I want you to also think through this concept that I'm going to click through these because I kind of talked through what these functions are. These are going to be the channels that you're in, and then you could also build other private channels. We've had a lot of questions from people about how do I actually create a team and create a channel. So here, I'm going to go all the way out. I'm going to back out to my view list. So here you'll notice, by the way, here's that Accessibility Allies. I would highly encourage you, if you're interested in joining that group, you can do that. But here, these are all the teams I'm on, right? So let's pretend like I want to create a new team. I might want to create, because this is something that's come up a lot. Here, I click Join or Create Team, and then I can create a team here. I can also join a team if I have a code. So let's say you have a course or a work group that's really special to you. You can come in here and enter that code in so that people have a password to get in, so that they're able to then join the team. You'll notice too, if you come out here, that there are some different channels that are open to the whole college. And so if you want to be a part of that, that's really important too. For example, the Equity and Inclusion Committee, right? I can do the One College, Student Ready, so I can join this, right? But then I can also create my own team. And there's 4 different types of teams you can create. They go from class, so if that's a course you're organizing. There's also professional learning community. That's a really popular one that's going to have a staff notebook. Then you have a staffing group, which is school administration and development. And then you also have more recreational versions. When you click on each of these, they will have different templates. And so you can go in and then add or subtract the me space or the we space with how you want to work around it. I'll just click on one for an example real quick, where I'm going to do sample team. I can create a description, and then I can make it private or public. For the most part, I would do all of your teams private, just because if you make it public, anyone with a TCCD account will see it when they log into Teams. And while that might be the case for some work groups, I would say the average person does not want the entire college to have access to their work group. You'll also notice this is really cool, especially for those of you who are setting up classes. There's also, you can create a team using an existing team as a template. So much like in Blackboard, where you could export a whole course, you can also import something too, so that you can duplicate it so you're not doing all of that work. You can also use a team that's set up by Tarrant County College District. So it could be a template that the college itself has prepared for you. Once I click next, the team will be created, and you can customize this. You can add an image to describe it, but you can also start typing a name, distribution list, or security group to add to your team. I'm going to skip that for now, but let me demonstrate. I'm going to put Jennifer's name in. Notice it populates, so all of these people are some of our talented coworkers across the college. I could add in anyone that I wanted to. Let me delete Jennifer. I will then skip. And then you'll notice I just created this sample team. So here I can come in, click on this. I can upload a picture. They have templates. I might just pick one out here. Let me go to, I'm just going to use this right here. Update, and you'll notice then I've got a symbol for my team that pops right up. If I want to add members, I can click on this ... and add members here. And you'll notice again, if I type in someone's name, it automatically populates as well. And I can bring in people in. I can also add a channel. So you'll notice that right now it just says general, right? Well, let's say I have team A, right? So team A might be one group. I can add that. And you'll notice how that then pops down, team A. Then I can add another channel, and I can say team B. So, I'm thinking about my own internal department of human resources. Within our department, we have professional development, talent acquisition, comps and benefits, and employee relations. So our team channel does have these very different subgroups that work down this thread, so that some of us have access to some of this and others don't. So I can make this private. So if I click manage channel, I might just want, a few people to have this, right? I can also moderate this. Did I click that right? I can also hide the channel so not everyone can see it. If I don't want everyone to see that, I can do that. Let me go ahead and click show again. And then up here, I can also get a link to add people to the team. I can tag the team, and I can leave the team, right? So this is really important for you all to know about, because these are going to be ways that you can make your stuff accessible for people to join. You can have an owner or a member. You can't have a whole lot of owners. I actually wouldn't recommend having too many, because owners are going to have certain administrative privileges to manage the team in a way that makes it meaningful. If you have requests, people might want to come in here. Here you've got, more channels, so I can add channels quickly. You'll notice it says show for me, show for members with description. And then I can click in here as well for that same information. I've also got the settings, right? So you can then go in and get all of this. Analytics, how many people access it, and then different apps you might want to add across the top. So when I go back up here to the general session, remember this is that shared space, that canvas space. I can actually add in different things. For example, this is one of my favorite tricks. I can click here for a website. So here I'm actually going to put Office 365. This is a great way for your team and for your classrooms to access Microsoft Office and everything it has to offer. So I can click save here, and you'll notice all of a sudden it's available at the very top. So when I click here, it's a login. I'll go ahead and log in. And then all the, yes, I do. Click, click. Then you'll notice here, I can come in here and access Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even Teams, right? I've got Planner, Whiteboard, all of the different functions that you might use as you are working with your groups. This is really important because I think sometimes students might not realize they have all of Office 365 at the tips of their fingers, or even some of our coworkers. So this is a great way to make things really easy to manage and to find. Any questions on this as I was building the team?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had one say, I had trouble changing a channel that wasn't originally private into private. How do I do that? So can you show again how we switched it from public to private?
Yes, are you an owner of the channel? That could be part of the problem.
Brenda, could you type in, are you the owner? She is the owner. Okay. If you use channels for breakout groups, she is the owner, so she should have the ability with the ellipsis there next to sample. Oh, I don't know if the full team, if you can change it once you've made it public.
Oh, yes, I think that's correct. Once you create it, it's dead set. So what you might have to do is duplicate it, but then make it private versus public when you go back in. Remember how you can pull a template up? You would just change that setting. So I went, does that make sense?
She says it's actually one of the lower channels. So go back into the teams that you created and click on one of the sub channels.
Me? Okay, so go back to my sample class.
Mm-hmm. Now click on Team B, and how do you turn that to private?
I don't think you can.
I thought you could.
I mean, you can hide it, which makes it private. But I'm not sure how to make it private once you do that.
I'm gonna check something while you're doing that.
Yeah, good question though. Good question.
And then the other question was, if you use channels for breakout groups that you want to monitor, do you put yourself in each group?
I would. Yes. This is where I realize it's a lot because you might be getting mixed messages flying through, not mixed messages, just a ton of messages flying through. But I think it's really important that anything that you're monitoring that you actually are a part of and you are a member. Just because you're a member of the general team doesn't mean you're automatically a member of every other team. Anyone can come up here and add a channel, right? I'm sorry, up here. So if I click here, one of my girlfriends demonstrated this for me. She actually added a channel that was just for herself. She wanted her own place to do her own to-do list and her own project management. So she created her own channel inside, because remember, this is the me space, right? So this space right here is definitely something that you have full control of that not everyone else will. So I'm actually going to put me space, my own channel. And then if I don't let anyone else in here, right? I don't want it standard or accessible. I click private here. I'm sorry, there it is. It's when you do the creation of it. And then I click next. I don't want to invite anyone. I want it just for me. So see that little lock that pops up, and then I can click here and go from there. But no one else is going to have access to that except for the person that I invited at the top of that. So again, to show that, you go here, add channel, and then it's right here and underneath description that you're able to make it private versus standard. Does that help? Does that answer your question? Okay. So that's how you, go ahead.
I am playing with it. I do not see a way to make a channel private once you've made it public.
Yeah, so you might just have to delete it and relaunch it. You'll notice here, this is actually a screenshot from my computer. All of these are locked because there's different people who have access to it. The only thing that's open is this general. So our whole HR department can get in here. This is me and my supervisor. This is a project I'm working on with a specific coworker. This is my leadership team. And then this is my department of PD. So I think it's a pretty standard practice when you're sharing a departmental channel that you're going to have a whole bunch of different private channels with different access. Okay. And no, you can always, even if you make it private, you can always add or subtract members. So you're not changing that setting all the time. Okay. And then you'll go ahead.
Popped up was, if you're using Teams as your classroom, do you put all of the students in order for them to see the team on their MS Teams? If you want them in the main shell, you have to add them all in. If you are saying you are breaking into work groups and you want to create their own private channel, then you would only add them to the individual channel. But they would have to be a member of the overall team in order to even get into it.
Very good. And this up here is a way to customize that we space. As I told you, you can always add or subtract different tabs. That's really important too. And then I want to bring up this idea of the canvas. The canvas is going to be a space. I want you to imagine this as your break room bulletin board. You should not be posting personal information here. This is going to be stuff that you want everyone and the entire team to know, because this is very, very public. So mind those P's and Q's. No one needs to know, what you ate for lunch on a public posting. If you wouldn't put that on a community bulletin board for shared viewing, don't post it there. I would post with a lot of caution. Chats where we get to be more personal. There's also this search or type a command bar, and this is sort of like the Google. This is like the Google search bar that we have inside Teams, where you can type in different names, different people, and information will pop up very quickly.
Brenda has asked a question, and Brenda, we honestly do not know. The question is, can assignments submitted in Teams be downloaded to Blackboard? And they're talking about the actual grades. We're not as well versed with the faculty side, so we will take this question and we're going to reach out to our counterparts over at Center for Teaching and Learning and Connect and see if they have found a way yet, and we can also do some more research on it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to note that CTL and PD are talking, and that's Center for Teaching and Learning and Professional Development. We are talking and collaborating weekly on all of this because we know that we're sort of building the plane as we're flying it with MS Teams, and so we're collaborating and consulting. So even if we don't know the answer to your question, at the end of today, we're going to go back and pull all these questions out and then provide an answer to it, okay? So just know if we don't have the answer today, we will get back with you. We're also vetting patterns of these questions to design specific trainings for you this fall semester that could be relevant to you using it. Debbie, I see your question about how do students access their quote unquote class Do we put a link into Blackboard for them? That's a really good thought and a really good question. I think there's multiple ways you can do that. Do know that whenever you are invited into a team, you get an automatic email to your Outlook account. So I would definitely make that aware. But I think, as with all things communication, it's important to hit people, 5 to 10 times. Don't hit them, but to hit them up with the information 5 to 10 different ways. For example, you might post it, you might email it, you might link it, you might text it, however you can go about letting them know that this is going to be the process. Yes, definitely have it in your syllabus with a 1-page maybe explanation about how to download it. In fact, Jennifer, we have that email from PD that we give new employees. You know how we talk about how to download it? We'll drop that in there for you all too, because we have a step-by-step guide on how to go to office.com, download the Teams app to your desktop application, and then enter in through there from your TCCD email account. So we'll drop that in there for you all as well. But what you'll notice is that these are all the really basic functions of Teams. Again, this PowerPoint is in the chat feed. So we really encourage you all to review this, because in 2 hours, it's going to be really difficult for us to make you all experts. Just know that we'll have more trainings coming down the pipeline, and we highly encourage you all to reach out and let us know. So that's sort of the bird's eye view. We do have a whole presentation on the ethics of MS Teams. We're going to skip that for today, but know it's in the PowerPoint for you to review later. But I do want to hit on a few really important things as we go through this. And that's that we do have boundaries in MS Teams. And so while we're going to look at some of the different things in the PowerPoint that are important about professional behavior, the thing that's the most important for you all to note as we talk about this is what pops up in the 80 local and DH local policies. And here it's going to tell us that these policies, it's never okay to record someone without their knowledge. And so if you are recording a session, you want to say that at the top of the meeting, either drop it in the chat or verbally do it. I actually think this is an and situation where you're both verbally telling people and then also dropping it in the chat so that no one is surprised that it's recorded. And then also know that anything that happens inside MS Teams is privy to an open records request. So it's really important that you all maintain those professional boundaries, practice those code of ethics, follow the workplace policies and procedures, because this is always being recorded by IT. And if anything inappropriate is happening or unethical is happening, you could lose your job. With that, I'm going to hand this over to Jennifer to talk about communication.
Hey everybody. Okay, you want to go ahead and switch to the next slide?
Yes. Sorry, I should have done that.
How do students access recorded sessions is a question that popped up. Oh, you muted yourself.
We'll talk about that at the end of the session. There is an app called MS Streams. I'll drop it in the chat, but MS Streams is sort of like Microsoft's own YouTube channel, so there's a specific place that goes.
So with the communication, we have 2 main voice communication platforms in Teams. We have calls and we have videos. In calls, you can have one-to-one conversations. You can add other team members onto the calls. In videos, again, it can be one-on-one, it can be a presentation. The warning with video is that it uses a large amount of bandwidth. So sometimes when you have your cameras on and everybody has their cameras on, you might get an alert that says warning low bandwidth, or you may want to turn off your camera. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of, in the next 2 weeks here, we have ISDs all across the counties that are getting ready to go back to school, a lot of them virtually. So that's going to eat up bandwidth. Our students are going to eat up bandwidth. So sometimes these face-to-face calls might not be as smooth as we would like to see them. So just keep that thought in mind. If you don't need to have your video on, don't put it on. The calls, what I want you to think about is for the calls is when you are on campus or you're running from meeting to meeting, what phone do you use to reach out to people? What phone do you use to reach out to your students? Are you using your personal phone where they get your personal information? If you download the Microsoft Teams app onto your phone, you can actually call through your app. And that way, what will pop up is your name and your work information, not your personal cell phone. So I actually use Teams quite a bit. As you can tell, I've been looking to the side a lot. I have Teams on my phone. I have a laptop. I have a desktop. I have had trainings where my desktop has decided to update in the middle of me presenting, where I've had Judith do the PowerPoints, and I am conducting the training through my cell phone.
Yes.
So that is the nice piece of it. It allows me to constantly continue to let the show go. We don't have to sit back and wait for my computer to restart. Okay.
Next slide. I'm going to go to the next slide.
The nice things with phones are there's speed dial. So you can add in your contacts. I have, she's going to pull up hers.
Yeah, I'm going to pull mine over. Okay, sorry. I pulled the wrong screen again. Go for it. Keep talking.
So
I got you.
When you go to your calls tab on the left side, you're going to see a speed dial where these are people you can program. You can see Judith has myself, our whole PD team. She has a couple people that we speak to quite often. Then you're going to see, and I'm looking at yours, if you go down farther, nope, that's it. So then on the left side, you'll have contacts, and those contacts will actually come in from Outlook. So whoever you have in as a contact in Outlook can also populate there, your history, and the great thing that I love is voicemail. And voicemail, when you click on it, when someone leaves you a message, you'll get a voicemail here. But if you click on the line there, it will actually transcribe the entire voicemail for you. And this transcription will also be sent to your email. So that way you don't have to worry about if you're in a meeting and your boss calls, you can quickly look at Teams and see, oh wait, there's a fire. I need to leave this meeting and I need to go deal with this situation. Or you can see it and go, okay, let me just send them a quick chat on Teams and let them know where to find the document they're looking for. So for me, it's just been another step up in the game. Helps me be a little bit more efficient. And if for those of you who have anxiety like I do, you're not sitting there worried for the next hour, why did my boss call me? And why did she leave me a message? And you don't have to sneak out of your meeting. So for me, that's a very nice feature with the voicemail.
Yeah, and can I say one more thing to that? Another cool feature here is you can actually group people. So like I've got Team PD, so I can literally click on that and it calls my 4 reports, right? And I can get us all on the phone at the same time. So you can also create subgroups, so you can group call versus do individual at the same time, which is pretty cool. Do you see this up here where it says new group? So I think that's a really cool feature. Anyways, go ahead.
And before you move away from the screen, I also want to point out, if you look at our pictures to the bottom right, you'll see a circle, and you'll see some of us have a red circle, some have a green circle, and there's also a yellow circle option. So the red means that they're in a meeting or they're busy at the moment. The yellow means that they've stepped away from MS Teams, so they may or may not be able to pick up your call. The green means they are sitting at their desk, they have no meetings on their calendar, they're not on the phone, so you can go ahead and try and call them. It's really nice alert, and if you ever see a white one, or if you see it completely grayed out, it means they do not have the application open. They could be on vacation for the week. And you'll see next to it, it says offline, so that person will not be able to receive any any chat messages or phone communication that you attempted that time.
Yeah, I really like this feature because I think it's good etiquette. I think sometimes working remote, we just assume people are readily available. So before you interrupt someone's, because calls, I don't want to say interrupt in a bad way, but it's just a nice courtesy and a nice practice for etiquette to pay attention to the color coding.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any questions while we're maneuvering? So then there are 2 main text communications when it platforms in Teams. So you have posts and you have chats. So posts are public and or group, and that will be in your Teams channel. That'll be in your Teams general channel, or any of the any of the channels that you create. Your first landing page will be the post page, and it's kind of like if you're on social media, your feed. And as people posting, it's going to keep on going down and down. And you want to be very mindful in this area to keep it business related. And then you have the chats, which in the chats, it's a one-on-one quick conversation with each other. You can have group chats. They are in all of our meetings, like we are using the meeting chat on the side today. They're in all of your channels, and they can be individual as well. Oh, Jeanette, I don't believe we can forward our phones lines to Teams, and
Right.
the reason being is a Cisco Jabber is our phone lines, and this is MS Teams. So what I have done is I will put Cisco Jabber. There's an application for that. I have that on my phone where you can actually take and make calls through your phone, but it's your Cisco line at work.
Good question.
It is. Okay. Okay, so the question, I've noticed that I do not get notifications of posts unless I am tagged in the post, but I do get notifications of chats. And sometimes that can be, and I think Judith does a really good job of showing how you can set up your notifications.
Can we do that?
I want to do that, yes. You do a better
Okay, so
job
this
than I-
is, I just learned this. Okay, let me pop up my screen
And
again.
while you're
So
doing
this
that-
is really fun. Okay, so if you all go, I'm just going to go home again. Notice I'm in dark mode. I'm going to show you all this in just a second. So if everyone will take their cursor and scroll up to where their picture is, what I'm going to do is click here. And this is really where we get to set the tone for our own team's experience. And so I'm going to ask you to click on your picture. Notice this is where you can change your setting, right? You can set a status message even. So I might let people know I'm presenting from 1 to 3, but I'll be back, in the office. You can save stuff, and then I can go to settings. So I'm in settings right now. What you'll notice is I have dark mode, and Jennifer and I both have personal experiences, and we're going to tell you about those, about why dark mode was a godsend for each of us in different ways. I don't know about you all, but since working from home, have you felt a little more exhausted? Like, have you heard of Zoom fatigue and Teams fatigue? It's a real condition that we are reading about. I am not kidding when I say I'm not complaining, love my job, but when I first came home and was working remote, we're in front of a computer more than we typically were because every single meeting is happening with this blue light beaming at our eyeballs all day. And literally from March to about June, I had a perpetual eye twitch. Like every minute my eyelid was twitching, and I literally thought that I was low on potassium. I started thinking that I was like dealing with major anxiety because I was on what is it called, WebXMD or whatever, looking up why your eye twitches, and it was like, you're deficient in nutrients. I was like, but I work out, I try to eat healthy, what's going on? And then I read an article that too much blue light can cause that, and so I started to flip everything I had to dark mode, and the twitching went away. Jennifer, I'm going to throw the blue light ball to you because I see someone just dropped in the H word, the headache word, and I know that you can talk back to that. So let's talk about why dark mode is great. And as she's talking, I'm going to flip around here and just show you what the different looks feel like. Go ahead.
So when we first went home, the first week I had a migraine every day. And it was at the point where I actually had to, 2 of the days had to stop working because I couldn't function. And I found out that by switching it to dark mode and then looking at your blue light level on your screens, if you dim the blue light levels and you put it in dark mode, it actually helps your eyes, and it stopped I haven't had a migraine since I flipped to dark mode and low blue light. And it was a rough couple weeks coming home. We all did. So if you do have headaches, that's 2 things to look at, is look at your blue light level on your monitors. And then maybe flip to a darker screen mode.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and there's also, like, you can get glasses on Amazon for around $10 to $20 that are just blue light glasses that filter out that blue light as well. That was something my mom told me about. So let's look at notifications, because some of us were talking about where you do that. So again, I'm in general, right? General's where I could pick my dark mode. I can come down here. This is a really cool new feature called Turn on New Meeting Experience. I'll demonstrate this to you all in just a second, but this is going to allow you to pick what works for you. I'm going to go down to notifications right here, because when I go here, I can go to chat messages. I get both a banner and an email. I could just get a banner or completely turn it off, right? And the same thing for team mentions, because someone said they see when they're mentioned, but not otherwise. So here you can turn that off. You can do a banner, and an email, and same thing with channel mentions, personal mentions. replies to conversations, likes and reactions. So this is just how much you like to be notified. And that's a personal preference. So I just want to make that really, really clear that there's not a right or a wrong answer to any of this. We're just showing you how you can make this work for you, hence the title of the training. You're also able to see if your devices are working. So here, if I've got like a Bluetooth headset or a certain microphone I want to use, or if I'm, playing with my speakers, this could be where I check that out. And then there's also permissions that you can turn on and off. So that's the notifications. I'll give it back to you, Jennifer.
All right. So a question, I did do a quick answer in the chat, but a question was, how do you see the blue light levels and how can you lower it? That's actually in your computer's screen display settings, and with everybody's computers being different, you'll want to search your computer for display, and then when you get in there, you'll see a light option under the display settings. So I apologize, that might be something where you reach out to me and we can work on it one-on-one together, but with so many different computers, it's really hard to tell. For friendly tips about the @mention and whether you should do the @tag or the not @tag, you really want to be mindful of this, because the more you tag somebody, the less likely they're going to read your continuous messages.
Yes.
And then also, you want it to be short and concise. Think about what you want to read. Do you want to read a full paragraph? If you really need to do a full paragraph of directions or multiple paragraphs, make it a formal email. Mm-hmm. And then put in the post, hey, check your emails for more information. So you want to be really short and concise. And then the last thing is to post with purpose, and you want to be very mindful here. Make sure that you are keeping this work-related. This isn't the time we're not on breaks. We're not talking at the break table or the water cooler. So be very mindful of what you put in, and everything that you post, every chat that you put in, that can be recalled through an open records request.
Yeah, and I think I love what Jennifer says about the water cooler, right? So I always think of a chat as a virtual pop by someone's office for a quick question, and the post is like water cooler talk. So the post is public. The chat can be a one-off, but it's still something that's, not everyone needs to know, but it's a little more tighter. Do y'all know how to mention someone? I would like for us all to practice this. So if we could all go to the chat really quick, I'm going to say, hey, at Jennifer, right? So I'm going to start typing her name. Notice I have to go up and then click on her name, and it turns purple. Great job today, right? So I'm going to do that, and then Jennifer gets mentioned. I want everyone in this virtual classroom right now to take a practice. Go over to the chat and just practice mentioning someone else you see in the virtual classroom and say hi. Thanks, Maureen. So notice when I get the mention, it turns orange. So it's a different visual cue for the receiver versus the giver, which is really nice, right?
This is great. You all really got this one.
I like the Jeanette on Jeanette, right? Excellent, excellent. So that's really our quick and dirty training on communication. Do y'all have any questions about that? That's really important. We usually I really encourage you all to play with this. You can also do GIFs, memes, emojis. So I'm also going to drop in a GIF. I'm going to say happy dance, right? We're a meme culture. I love Elmo. So I'm going to click on Elmo, right? And click that, right? So you can do this. Some people are GIF people and some people aren't. So do what you can. But notice if I hover over any comment, I can like it, I can love it, I can laugh it, I can hate it, right? So just know you can also do that, right? Oh, Jill, we hope you had a good summer too, right? You can also do emojis or stickers or even attachments. So attachments you can upload from computer. That's where I was able to upload the PowerPoint from today. Good Lord, why is that coming up?
Someone jumped and got the praise up there. All right, Allison.
Yes, you already know how to use that. Yes.
And then while she's pulling the next thing up, if you are finding that the person's name is not turning purple for you, double check it. You want to do an @ sign, and then you want to type in their name, but you want to click on their name as it pops up above it, or it will not tag them. Hi, Barbara.
Jennifer, my screen, since I did together mode, it won't let me mark things urgent. Will you show them that? Because I think that one's a really good feature. So Jennifer's going to share her screen for just a second. There's a really cool feature. Oh, I like the alien running man. That's hilarious. I guess I would be a running alien, not a running man. But this is really cool because you guys can actually mark chats as important or urgent. And so I'm going to let her show you this because, there are situations where you might need someone immediately. I'm thinking through things, and I hate to bring up negative situations, but hey, in a case of an emergency, it's important to note if there were ever an active shooter, if someone, had a seizure in the middle of class, if something's set on fire, if there was a fight that broke out, just anything that you really need attention fast, Jennifer's going to show you exactly how to make this happen.
It has disappeared.
Mine disappeared too. I don't know what happened. There should be, when you hover around the ... you could pull up an exclamation point as important. Oh, there it is.
Here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two different ways, and sometimes this exclamation mark here, you will find it down here. If you do not find it on this panel, click on font, click on the ellipsis, and then there's your mark as important.
Got it. Okay, that just helped.
This is showing important. The one that I do not see, you can remove it as important, but there is a third one, and it is called urgent. If you click on urgent and you hit send, it is going to send them an alert every 2 minutes for 20 minutes.
And it'll go woo, woo,
Yeah.
like it's like a siren, yes.
So as you can see here, I have the important. If say that there's, like Judith said, that there was an active shooter, or of a fire in a place, or if there is, God forbid, there's bad weather and a building has an issue like we had at Northwest a couple years ago, you can use that urgent to let people know to get out, and it will keep hitting them until they either read it or for 20 full minutes. So the urgency one is only if it's a true emergency. The important one, that's the step down, a step above a normal message. And then, is there another one that I was showing or no? Okay.
No, you're fine. Okay, can you show us again where to find that? We do one more walkthrough.
Okay, so down below here you'll see format, and we're going to click format. And then you're going to click the ellipsis. And here is where you will mark it as important. And if you mark something as important and you did it by accident, you can come back this exact same way, click on it, and it will unmark it. Okay.
Yeah, and you'll notice whenever you mark it important, see how the red banner comes down on the side and there's a big red exclamation point too, if you scroll up and you see it. Yeah, there you go. Very cool.
And this will be the same in chat messages, in posts. The only difference is in chats and posts, there will be a red line right here as well.
If someone did not show up to this training and they start seeing these messages, they're going to be like, what is happening in that PD session? Get out. That's funny. Yeah, so make sure, I just want to be really clear, these are just test drops right now. We're all safe. We're all sound. Everything's okay.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Is my screen still being shared? No, hold on one second.
I can pull mine over and show her. I know what she's asking.
Yeah.
So Brenda, so you're going to click on the font first and then go to the ... right? So if I click on just the ... without that, this is where Jennifer, that's where mine's not working. Do you see that? Typically, I think you're clicking here. Oh, let me reshare. Thank you. Okay, it's popping back up. Okay, hopefully y'all can see it now. Let me pull this back over. Okay, so if I'm actually in a chat right now, I can go here. If you click here, that's where all of these pop out, right? But if I want to mark in a message urgent, I would actually click on the font first and then the ... And that's where mark is important comes up. Do you see that? Okay. All right, and those are some communication tricks for you all that are really helpful. Do you have any other questions or any other demos you want us to walk through? We are going to move to scheduling next. All right.
And Cheryl, do you have a question, or did you just leave your hand up? No, okay. Sorry.
Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to look at calendars and meetings. I think this is a really cool one because I think this is, oh, I see Carolyn's asking, how do we send an attachment? Click on the paperclip option in the chat and you'll see that. It's right next to the font. And then you can upload from there. We're actually going to talk more about that when we get to files and records management. So give us about 15 minutes and we'll do a full demo for you on that. So let's talk about calendars and meetings. Jennifer, do you want to do this one and I'll do files, or
Sure.
you want me to take, you got it? Okay.
Yes. So as you see, you have two different functions with MS Teams to manage your day schedule. You can use your calendars or you can use your meetings. And the nice thing about this is anything that is in your TCC Outlook email will sync up with MS Teams. Anytime you accept a meeting through your Outlook email, it's automatically going to put it on your Teams meeting and vice versa. Whoa, my screen did something. Okay, sorry. So meetings allows the creation of immediate and planned meetings. And do you want to flip over to the calendar?
Sure.
And we can show them that. Sorry, you're going to see
Oh,
our
wait, wrong one.
busy weeks.
I know, it's embarrassing when there's people on my calendar. Okay, so what y'all are going to see here is I'm going to blow this up and I'm going to click on calendar.
Yes. There we go. So to the top right, you're going to see a Meet Now button, and then you're going to see a new meeting. So the Meet Now is if you've talked to somebody, they say, hey, let's jump in a meeting real quick and work this out. Great. If you want to schedule meetings, whether they're weekly meetings, monthly meetings, schedule training 2 weeks out, you'd want to click on the plus new meeting. You do see a drop down next to new meeting, and there's an advanced feature of MS Teams called live event. And that's really if you are going to have over 450 participants, and you will not be able to communicate back and forth with the participants as the presenter.
This is also the new webinar function. We don't have WebEx or Cisco anymore for webinar. So if you're running a webinar, live event is also it as well.
Mm-hmm. So those are the different ways that you can add your meetings. You can meet now. And then we're going in. Every meeting you'll see at the top, you have a chat feature. You have a files tab, you have a details, you have a meeting's notes. So up to 6 months from now, you can come back to this meeting and you can see all the questions that were asked, you can see our conversations, you can see all the files that we have dropped into this meeting for you to utilize. And if we had any meeting notes, you would be able to see those as well.
Yeah, and I know Carolyn asked, how do we send an attachment? I want to show you a quick trick real fast. And this is really super cool. So you notice this is the PowerPoint that I sent you all that we're looking at today. You could send an attachment, of course, down there with the paperclip option in the chat box, but I can also hover on this ... and I can get a link. I'm going to click on that link and I'm going to drop it. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to drop it down here in the chat, Control V it, and hit send. And you guys can also access the document from right there, which is really cool. So that's another way that you can share that. There was a question right above that. Yes. How do you add participants or invite to the meeting? Okay, we'll walk you through that. So it sounds like they want to actually build a new meeting, Jennifer.
Let's build a new one.
Ooh, and let's show them schedule assist while we're doing it.
Okay. I'll let you lead that one. You're the best with the schedule assist.
We're tag teaming if y'all can't tell. Okay, so this is a sample meeting, testing, right?
Sure, we'll show you that again in just a moment.
Yes, this is one of my favorite features, mainly because I don't know about you all, but it is really hard to coordinate schedules sometimes, specifically when you might need people from across different campuses to be in one place at one time. And we know that that's nearly impossible. I used to use this really cool website called Doodle. Did y'all ever do Doodle polls? I'm sure some of you have heard of it. Well, the cool thing is that MS Teams actually has this built inside it. This is why it's really important to keep your calendars up to date. So I'm going to put my sample meeting title there. Here, I'm going to invite Jennifer Benson. I'm going to invite Brianna Woodruff. I see her name there. Brianna, I'm not picking on you. I'm going to invite Carolyn Bass. Those names that are floating up here. And I'm going to invite Randall King, right? Oops. There he is. Okay. So what you'll notice is I put all those people in. Notice Jennifer turned red and Randall turned red. This means that the current time that I picked, which is right now, these people are busy. So I'm like, that's not good. I don't have a time that works for everyone. So what I can do you see this scheduling assistant right here? This is really cool, y'all. I'm going to click on this. And you're going to notice that everyone's calendars work across, right? So I see everyone's calendars. What I can then do is drag this availability and pick a time where everyone's available. Well, let's say at the last minute, I need to add Rebecca McIntosh, right? So I'm going to pull up Rebecca. I've added her, and all of a sudden Rebecca's calendar drops in, right? Oh, good news. She's still available at that time as well. But you can literally drag this over, which is super cool, right? And find a white space where everyone's availability is good. I'm going to drop that there. I'm going to go back to my details and notice how that automatically updated. Isn't that so cool? I think that's so cool. This is a huge time saver. It's also going to give you suggestions on other times that everyone is available. So this is where it's really important to keep your calendar up to date and to think through how to make this work best for you. And then you can also add a channel. So let's just say this is my this is for everyone in my ISSM work group team, which isn't the case, but I can click that. And then I can actually add a meeting location for a maps, and then I can create an agenda down here as well. I'm going to go ahead and just know I'm going to send this meeting, you all, just so we can show you other features, but please reject this meeting, everyone. I'm going to click send. And you'll notice that that meeting now popped up. So here's my sample meeting. I'm going to go ahead and click on it for a second. Because if I do want to add other people, I can then just drop them right here in this part here. But what I want you to notice is that I can start chatting with people immediately on this thread once they accept the meeting. I can drop those files in there. We can share our notes, and I even have an interactive whiteboard. So that stuff is really great. And as Jennifer said, it will hold all of this information for up to 185 days. Go ahead, I'm passing it back to you. I'm going to cancel that meeting. Okay.
Do you all have any questions about that? And wait, there was one. Show that again. Judith, can you show how we shared the file?
Yes.
And you
Okay.
copied the link. That's what it was.
So oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So let me back out. I'm going to go to our meeting right now. So this is the meeting we're in currently. Y'all, this is where MS Teams is so smart. Like, it blows my mind that anything you drop into the chat is automatically going to sync into your files history, which is going to be the next topic we look at. So if you do want to share something quickly, I can then drop on this ... get link, right? It'll allow me to copy it and then drop it into a chat or into a post. All right, back to you, Jennifer.
Okay, another question came up was, if I have a group distribution list in Outlook, can I enter the group in the distribution? And I believe the answer is yes. Mm-hmm. I believe when you start typing in, it will pick up your group name. And I don't know, Judith, if you have a group that is in your Outlook.
I don't have one. I don't have an example of that, no. That's a good question, though. I'm actually really curious to know the answer to that now that you bring that up. like super interested. It's a good question.
I'm making sure.
She's checking out that answer. While she's doing that, I want to show you all something that's really important. The other thing that you want to be aware of as you're sharing your screen, I think I can't show this right now because if I stop sharing, but do you all see the share screen button? It's going to be the control bar that's floating across your bottom. I have a different setting on my computer to hold this still, but if you go to share screen, it's going to be the box with the arrow pointing out. Go ahead and click on that for a second. And it's really important that you all are able to click a box that says include system audio. It's a little white box that you check. If you're ever streaming a video, if you're ever playing music and you want whatever it is that you're playing on a website to stream in real time with the sound, you have to click that little box for the sound to show up. Okay, so know that that's really, 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 really important. And then it's also important to note that when you take meeting notes, everyone can do that at the same time. So what I'm going to do is actually drop a file into this. Let me get up my chat. And we're going to practice taking live notes together. And I'm going to show you all how we then can share the file at the same time. Oh, someone just said you can use groups from Outlook. Good to know. I didn't know the answer to that.
Thank you. I was trying to create a team quickly to check.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I actually just attached a file. I should have demonstrated that. But to attach a file, you click on this paper clip and you upload this. So I'm sending this Word document. Oh, did my screen stop sharing? Okay, hold on. Whoops. So I just sent this Word document. Hopefully it'll send. Come on, baby. I'm going to give this just a second. That might take a second to send. But basically, when you share a document and everyone opens it, you can live update it, okay? So that can definitely happen. What we're going to do here is as we're taking meeting notes, you can add your name, you can color it different ways. Let me try to resend that. Oh my gosh, I've heard that so many times, Virginia Covington. About my old when I worked at my other college job before I came to Tarrant, they used to call me Penny from Big Bang Theory, and I'm like, really I'll take that. That's nice. It's funny. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get this Word document to go through. Jennifer, would you mind just dropping a blank Word document into the chat and just call it today's fun activity? So the other thing that's really cool when you drop a file into a chat line is literally everyone can access the document at exactly the same time, which is crazy, and we could all be inside it working simultaneously. So I want to demonstrate this to you all so that you're able to see it, because I don't know why my documents aren't going through. I'm trying it again. These files are really cool here. While she's doing that, I'm gonna show you all my file folder, which is really important because as we're looking at this, you'll notice that any file you open, so if I click on files right here, this was something I just recently learned. One of my coworkers taught me this. Here, let me see if this will work, Jennifer. I'm gonna try to send it by getting a link here. Okay. Let's try this. Send. I just dropped a file into the message. Did that work? I want everyone to click on the Word doc. And what you'll notice is Jennifer's went through, right? So on Jennifer's chat box, click on this ... and we're all going to click on edit in Teams. So I'm going to click on that. I want you all to join me. And as you log into this Word document, I want you to type your full name. And then I want you to put it in a font color. And what you'll notice as we're doing this is that different people are going to be popping into the document at the same time. So right now we have over 10 people inside this document. What's crazy is that as we're doing this, y'all, We don't ever have to click save. We don't ever have to download it to our desktop. This is literally happening in real time. And we can all access this anytime we want, right? Oh, sorry, Kat, we bumped into each other. So here I'm going to highlight my name. I'm going to make it red. I might bold it. I might italicize it, right? And as this is happening. So we've got everyone in there. Now what I want everyone to do, don't save it, okay? Don't save it. I'm asking you not to save it. What I want you to do now is go to your Files tab and click there. And see how this said just now, Activity Docs right here? This live saves, I can click on it again and go back. So anything you open while you're inside MS Teams is going to automatically save in your Files tab, which is completely insane. So if you're looking for that agenda, you're looking for that project, you're looking for that document, you can go back to it. And then notice it'll say, while you were away, these changes were made by XYZ, A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? So it's going to update everything as it's happening. So this is a really cool activity. I want you all to think about working with students, right, in a collaborative fashion, where maybe it's the first day of class and you want everyone to introduce themselves. You might even want them to, you know, insert a picture of themselves. So I might go here, pull in a device picture. I'm going to choose a file. I'm going to drop in, this was our class this morning, right? So I'm going to drop in this picture. And I can even do that, right? So you could say, hey, drop a picture of who you are, tell us your favorite name, you know, your favorite hobby. And this is a really fun way to get people to interact. But also think about those big picture projects where you need someone to help you edit a proposal or edit a PowerPoint. Everyone can be inside it at the same time. I think something that's really important, though, to note is if you don't need any more editing done, see this drop down? I can then flip it to review mode so people can't edit it, but they can review and provide comments. So if you are the owner of the document, you don't necessarily want people inside changing your work, but you want comments on it, you can flip it from editing to reviewing, okay? And then notice I can click on this, I can open it in browser, I can download it, and I can close. Note that this works with Microsoft Office, all products, so it works with Excel, PowerPoint, Word, all of it. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to go ahead and close out of that.
And Judith, we just had something that we happened this morning is Brenda needed to request access. Brenda, I did accept you, so you should be able to get into it. We're looking at why that's popping up with some people and not everybody else. It's really random and we're not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Jill, it's most likely because you are a guest. If you are not coming in through your TCC account, you do not, or if you are not on the desktop version.
Yes, you have to be on the desktop
app. Web version, that can also affect the access that you have.
We have about 25 minutes left, so I want to get through files and records management. We've already talked through some file systems, but I want to talk a little bit more about it. I think it's really important when you're sharing a Teams file that you think about how people, not only what are you saving in your files, but then how you're organizing that information so that your records management is smooth, accessible, and easy to find. I think we all know when you're in a Teams channel, it's really important that people who are a part of that team can find what they're looking for in a quick and user-friendly way. I don't know if you all have heard this about like the e-marketplace, but anytime you are building products for people to buy online, I just lost that word. If you're trying to buy a product online, typically, if it takes more than 3 clicks to purchase something, most people are going to back out and not buy your product. So I want you to think about that as an instructor and as a coworker, right? If you're organizing information for other people to come in and access, if they can't get there within 3 clicks, it's likely they're going to call you, chat you, email you, or interrupt what you're doing to find that information. And so it's really important when you do that you have a methodology to how it is that you're organizing it. So think through 3 different levels. The function level is going to be the business unit, organization, or team, which will then narrow down to a topic level. The topic level is going to be your subject area. It's the largest level of your folder structure. And then it'll boil down to a content level. And so again, you should have 3 folders in where people can find exactly what it is that they need. So maybe it's English 1301, group project, the assignment, directions, right? Maybe it's, American Sign Language, groups, maybe it's, I don't know, it would be a specific final exam, and then you've got your study guide and all the PowerPoints to create that. But again, you want to do a 3-click navigation to anything you're trying to find so that people have an easy and accessible way to access the information. Again, it might not be how you prefer to organize information, but you want to think about the big picture. So when I come in here to my teams, I'm going to go to the experiential playground. I did a sample for Trinity River for you all. So if I go to Files and Records Management here, I'm going to come up here to my Files channel, because there's always going to be a shared Files tab on any team. I will then click on Trinity River Campus Function Level. Notice there's 3 arms of the college. You have Academic Affairs, Community Education and Engagement, and then Student Development Services. So I went from function to topic. Let's say I click into Student Development Services, then the content's going to be the different arms of that. So maybe I want to learn something about advising, career services, student accessibility, testing, or transfer. So again, as the user who's walking into a space where information is organized, it's really clear and easy to navigate, and that's going to allow for your team members to have more access and more fluidity as they're sitting inside your team's channel. Any questions about that for now? I also think it's important to have a naming convention, practice a solid name game here. Very, very important. We've already done this, so I'm going to skip this activity, right? I want to stop for a second and see if y'all have any questions about files. Are all the files open to members of the team? Yes. Yes, they are, Rebecca. I'm wondering if there's a way to lock them. Let's just play with this for a second. I'm going to go.
The only thing that I do know is that if you are a member of a private channel under a team, the full team cannot see what's in that channel. Only the members, only the people that are included in that private channel.
So let's see if I create a new document. Oh, wait, I want to upload a document. I'm going to do a file. I'm experimenting live here with you all. Okay, let's just do the statistical handbook. It's uploading. You'll see here. It's going to probably pop down. Here it is. Okay, so if I hover over this, can I lock it?
Brenda had a question while you're looking at that, and it's if you want to make folders for my individual students, is there a way where only the student and I can access it? What you would want to do in that case is to have your channel and then create a private channel for each student, and then only grant access to the student and you to go into that private channel.
Yeah.
That is one way to make it so that only they can see it.
So I'll show you how to do that. Remember, oh, whoops. Let's go to PD real quick. I want to add a sub-channel, so I'm going to go to Manage Channel. Can I add another channel from here?
I think you have to do it under General.
I do have to do it under General. Okay, so I'm going to make one for Jennifer and me, right? So I'm going to add a channel. I'm going to call this JD-JB, right? So this is just for me and Jennifer. I want to make this private here. Next. So here I would invite Jennifer to it, right? Add, done. And then you'll see this pop up. It's got a lock there, right? So only the people that are added to that can access the information inside that. So if you are sharing information just with one student, you might have to have a channel for each one of them. Or you would just use your email address to send the information so that it's not public. Again, you can chat stuff, but a chat, I don't know. When it deals with sensitivity issues like grades and stuff like that, anything that deals with FERPA, I probably wouldn't do that. I would create something very private, or I would use my email function specifically. And that might be where Blackboard has more safety measures because we're still experimenting with MS Teams. So any questions?
If it's the files, again, depending on what kind of files you're, but you would have to create just a private channel and then upload the files there.
So now I want to go through a few tips, tricks, and hacks. We have about 15 minutes before we'll open it up for questions. And I do want to note that we would have spent a lot more time inside tips, tricks, and hacks. So just know we'll make this offer to you all. If you want to come back to us, we'll schedule a tips, tricks, and hacks section, just so we know that you all have the full gamut of the training that we promised you today. And so when we look at this, I really want to make sure that we're defining these. So tips are going to be ways that you can really personalize the platform to suit your own experience. Tricks are going to be different apps that we really, really love, that we'd love to showcase for you. And then hacks are going to be applications that create flow, function, and finesse, so that you're really able to customize your MS Teams experience to meet your working style. So I don't know, I don't have my phone. My son stole it in the middle of his training. You know how they do that when you're busy. You better not be buying things on Amazon. I'm going to be upset. But look here, you'll notice that you can download Teams to both your computer and your phone. I think we've talked through this a little bit. I think it's up to you. It's a boundary that you set. For me, it's been a game changer, just in the sense there's been a few moments where I've lost Wi-Fi, but I still had data on my phone. So I was able to attend meetings, still complete projects, maybe not work on my phone, but at least communicate with my team when my Wi-Fi was out. Also, you can use your phone just like you use the actual call center. You can go through the Teams app to access calls, so that people don't have your personal information or your cell phone number. So for me, that's been really important. But I will note that anytime you are presenting, anytime you're in MS Teams Live, it's really critical that you're accessing MS Teams through your desktop computer application. I noticed a few people say on here, oh, I'm using an iPad right now. When you use an iPad or you use a phone, you're not going to have the full gamut of applications that you have when you log in through your desktop application. So think through that as well. Then we've talked about configuring notifications, so I'm good on that one. I do think it's important for the like button for us to talk about this thumbs up. When you've got the thumbs up typically with social media, when you're thinking about that, people usually use it for a way to say, ooh, I love that. Ooh, I like that. I'm down with that. Just know in MS Teams, the like button is really more for understood, receive the information, I'm clear on the directions. I think the heart sign and the smiley face are a little bit more for sentiment, whereas the like button is more like a 10-4, I got the information. And then I think we've talked about this, but I want to drive this point home. It's really important that you're thinking about the inclusivity of how you are creating your out of office replies. A year ago, we just had email, right? So someone would say, thank you for your email. I'm not going to be in the office for this week. Now, when you're thinking about MS Teams, note that there's about 5 different ways you can communicate. Someone might be chatting you. Someone might be giving you a post. Someone might be calling you. Someone might be emailing you, or someone might also be, maybe there's only 4, right? So there's 4. So instead of saying thank you for your email, we're going to ask that you flip that language to thank you for your message, because there's lots of different ways. Oh, thank you, Cheryl, video chat. Yes, ma'am. So there is going to be more ways for people to reach out to you. So saying the word thank you for your message is going to be more inclusive versus thank you for your email. I know that's a tiny little change in the way we're thinking, but I think it's really important for us to understand that in this modern workforce that's evolving right before our eyes, people are able to really get a hold of you in multiple different ways. I actually heard on a podcast this week that email is sort of going out of style, which is kind of crazy. Like they're thinking in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be like a fax machine where we didn't really use it as much because there'll be tons of different ways to communicate. Which blows my mind, because I remember when email first came out and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And now I'm the person in their 40s who has things that like my child will have never used email, which is crazy. All right. So we've also looked at sending links to documents, which is really important. And then we've talked about availability status. You'll notice Jennifer and I have been doing these trainings a lot. So sometimes we're just integrating some of that information as we go. But these are some of my favorite tips, and know that we're really happy if you all want to share some of your own. Now I want to go through some of my favorite tricks. Typically we would do demonstrations on these, and that's where we've lost a little bit of time, but that's okay. We'll make it up to you all, I promise. But these are some of my favorite apps. And we are going to have individual sessions on Planner, Forms, and Whiteboard, because these have been our most popular when we've showcased these applications. So know that we'll have a training schedule released for you as soon as school is up and going. We didn't want to overwhelm you all because we know Connections Week is happening, but we love the idea of creating individual sessions on these. Yes, Brenda, we are doing a whole course on tips and tricks. Don't worry, that's coming out. We'll have a 2-hour session on it, because I really think MS Teams is a lot like the human brain. I think we're using about 10% of its capacity right now. And the more we learn, the more we're putting together for you. So yes, we would love to put that on for you all. And I, with a whole heart, invite each of you back to our session so we can make that happen. I know someone specifically asked about Stream, so I wanted to show you all that really fast. But before I get there, I just want to define these. Planner's like a virtual to-do list. It's a way to do project management where you can assign tasks and actually have a dashboard that shows your progress. So if you're a type A person, or if you're not a type A person and need type A practices in your life to stay organized, MS Planner's your buddy. Trust me. Whiteboard's really cool. It's a live whiteboard experience where you can share text, pictures, doodles, and you can do it in a collaborative manner, much like we did the Word document that we all jumped on just a few seconds ago. Ava's a backup tool that you can use. You can find and restore deleted or missing information. So it's sort of like having a recycle bin beyond your recycle bin. It's an extra layer in case you ever miss anything. Then we also have Smartsheet. Our enterprise project management department uses this all the time. So depending on your supervisor and the pace of your work, this could be something that's really helpful for you all, because you actually get notifications as people are working across deadlines to see where we're at in the process. Forms is my favorite tool. We use that for sign-in, we use it for surveys, we use it for quizzes. It also provides live data analytics for you. So as people fill out your survey, it auto creates graphs that break down the information, that tell you time spent on task, and can give you some open-ended feedback. You can also manage those participations either through participations. You can manage those participants either by setting it to anonymous so that you get feedback in an anonymous fashion, or you can require people to drop in their name and email address. So if you think about that for sign-ins, it's a great way to capture if people are here. And then also if you're creating it with the quiz link, you're actually able to do grading of real testing information there as well. Polly's a quick poll you can drop into a chat so you can get quick information about where people are feeling. You can do the same thing with forms in your chat line. So these are great ways in the middle of a lecture. You could actually drop in a live poll to kind of do knowledge checks and to kind of get ideas about how people are thinking or feeling about the information that they're receiving. We also have a Who bot. This is where you can drop in information or ask questions, and you'll have a bot come in and answer that. And then MS Streams becomes the video warehouse. Oops, I pulled in the wrong one. The video warehouse that all of your recordings drop into. So I'm going to show you all this really fast. So what you'll notice is we record all day, every day in PD. We're always offering trainings and we're recording them, right? And so we wanted to have a place where all of that is dropped. So anytime I hit record, it's going to drop into MS Streams. I'm going to click there in just a second, but I don't want to take for granted that you all know how to access your apps. So you've got this ... bar. Notice it says more apps here that you can pull in information, but I've also got this apps place here. Y'all, there's some amazing apps. I've just picked ones that work for me. So no, there's a lot more to it. There's SurveyMonkey, there's Mural, there's Tetra. This is always changing. There's more now than there used to be. So you can really drop in anything you want, and they've got these really cool descriptions. I think this is something that everyone should show their students, because you'll notice there's YouTube, there's Wikipedia search. Yes, I will show again how to find the apps. So if you look at your app bar, notice this is called an app bar because you can design this. It's part of your Me space. If you scroll all the way down, there's an ellipses here where you can add apps, but you can also click on this tile down here at the bottom. Is that left? Yeah, bottom left-hand I'm one of those people, I have to put up the L, that has the apps bar here, and it'll take you to all of this too. Notice too, there's categories, so I can sift through here and look at what's coming up. There's productivity, might be something I'm looking at. And then there's top picks. And then there's also popular apps, right? So these are going to be things that we use quite a bit. Notice the grades. If I want to add one of these, I click here, copy link, or I can click on it right here and I can add the app here as well, right? You can add it to a team or you can add it to your own channel. I do want to show you a really cool way to add one of these to the top of your files. Here's Jennifer and I's private post. Maybe Jennifer and I are TED Talk junkies, right? So if I click the plus sign, I can drop in an app, right? So I can drop in a PDF app, Word app. I always put in Office 365 or TED Talk, right? So I'm just going to click on website right here. And I'm going to put TED Talks. Are those still popular? I used to use those all the time when I was teaching, right? So I've got HTTPS. Notice this save button will not go purple until this is a working URL. So I do want to post to the channel about this tab. I'm going to click save. And then you'll notice, see how TED Talks popped right up there, which is awesome. You could also do the same thing with Office 365. So if you want your students to know exactly where to go to access all of their Office account, I can put this here so that they know how to download everything. I don't think I showed you all this yet, did I? HTTPS. You have to type that out every time, which is kind of annoying. But here I can put office.com, right? Let's click save. And then that also pops up right there, right? Let's say I definitely know that this is for my students and I want them to have a stream account on their tab because I want them to have access to all my recorded lectures. Why isn't this coming up? Oh, here it comes. It's coming. If I have my own teaching channel, which you can do on streams, I can do that. I don't know. Well, yikes, I feel bad because I don't have a specific channel I can drop in right now, but just know if I drop that information in, I can also click save there. Let me show you all streams really fast. So I've actually got streams pinned because I review these recordings quite a bit. So what you'll notice is it's going to take me here. I'm going to go straight to the streams tab by clicking on streams. It's thinking. So here I can go home. And here you'll see that we have different groups. Like we have a training in here right now on MS Teams. We've got some e-learning happening. And anything that's recorded at TCC, you could go in and find. I mean, not all recordings, but the ones that you indicate. You can also bundle these and create your own channel. So here I can create a channel where maybe it's my English 1301 lectures, or maybe it's, topics for different case studies in my course, but anything you want. We have a lot of cool stuff from TCC happening, so just know that that is definitely something you can use. MS Streams also will automatically transcribe, which is amazing. It's not perfect, you still have to edit it, but that's a really cool function of MS Streams as well. Do you have any questions about that? I know we're nearing 3 o'clock. I'm going to be quiet for a moment. No? Okay, and these are some of our hacks. We've talked about smooth scheduling. That was at Schedule Assist. We've talked about desktop versus mobile. We've talked about, when is it okay to use video and when is it not? I'm not disagreeing with Jennifer, but I do want to create a counter argument for using webcams. I think it's really important, especially as someone who's coming into a setting that didn't know anyone before we went home, being a new person. For me, if I'm doing a first time introduction, I always turn my camera on because I'm a face person. I know if I've met someone based on face recognition. Not all of us are face recognition people. That is how I work. And so for me, I actually connect better to people whenever I have got that visual in place. And I think it's ironic because I think my webcam just stopped working as I was talking about this. So I'm literally putting my virtual foot in my mouth because it does slow down bandwidth. But sometimes if you don't know someone and you're trying to set a tone of that three-dimensional human experience with your classroom, you might turn it on here or there just so that they can see you. They know your face. You're creating a meaningful relationship with them. Okay. But that's my 2 cents on that. I like the video piece.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
Yeah, but it's hard. Like, we did a session earlier today with Northwest Campus with over 80 people in it, and wow, did that eat up some bandwidth. We couldn't have everyone have their cameras on, right? Oh, I didn't show y'all blur the background. That was did I?
No,
that was the last session. Okay, so we're okay. So this is a really cool feature. Notice you saw my wild child that I like to call him trouncing through the background. Okay, so what I could have done to make that a little less distracting, do you see this ellipses? And then I'm going to pull down, it says apply background effects. If I click on that, they have these preset features. Let's go to the beach, which is my dream right now, right? Thank you, COVID. Is my webcam on so that you all can see it?
No.
Can you see? Oh, you can't. Okay, let me try to share my camera again. Yeah, my computer's acting really slow. Okay, let me turn. Can you see? Can you do it, Jennifer?
Yep.
Yeah, because my webcam. Okay, so everyone look at Jennifer. She's actually I'm gonna stop sharing so you can show them how to do that function.
Let's see. Did not share. Okay. So I want to click on oh, I have everybody pinned. Hold on. Okay, so you'll see there's the 3 dots here. I'm going to click here, and it has show background effects. And these are the options that you have that are stock options. So you can show the different locations that you want to be at. I kind of like this one. Now I'm going to apply it, and you'll see what happens to my background.
Sweet.
So now, as long as someone doesn't come right up in next to me, they can walk behind me and nobody will be able to see them. But
yeah, it's really cool. Like, you can protect your personal space if you're an instructor or you've got some chaos going on that you don't want people to know about in your background.
Does anybody need me to repeat that? Putting it in there. Okay. I'm going to let it. Can you make your own background? There is a way to add other.
Yes. There's a plus sign at the top.
Right here. So you can add in any of your pictures that you would like. And I don't think I have anything on this laptop that I could drop in. But yes, if you add it in, it will stay in your options here. And I'm going to stop sharing, Judith, if you want to pick back up. Uh-oh. Judith, are you still with us? Okay, well, we may have lost Judith for a minute. So, I do see a couple questions in there. One is, will we be able to access the PowerPoint document the file that was shared won't allow? Yes. I can email it to everybody. That's weird that it's not allowing it to be shared, but I will email that out to everybody. Is there a sign-in sheet? There is, and I do not have the copy to it. Miss Judith does, but I have everybody here listed down as attending, so I will go ahead and make the I will update attendance by that way. We will also send out a email shortly with feedback on how we did and what you would like to see more of in the future. I saw another question up here. Keep filling in questions if you have questions. How do recordings get added to the stream? Recordings are automatically put into stream once you are done. And there is a button to click on to make it go live. And honestly, I don't know because I'm usually not the person collecting the videos. I will get that for you, and we will send that out as well through the communications. Does anybody else have any other questions? Cheryl, do you have a question?
I'm sorry, I couldn't type it fast enough.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
How do you view videos of recordings of other meetings? Like, let's say I missed a meeting today and I wanted to go back and see it, and I know it was recorded. How would I do that?
It should be, if you go back to that meeting on your calendar and click on it, there should be, as long as it was recorded, at the very end it should say your meeting has been uploaded, your recording has been uploaded. And then if you click on it, that should show you the entire video.
Well, in looking at one now, it's got a recorder on it, but when I click on it, it just takes me back to the meeting login.
I'm going to have to look into that one with you because I'm not sure why it's doing that. I apologize about that. A lot of information. Thank you, thank you. Will this recording be available in TeamSpace? It should be available in our meeting chat right after, and I'm going to verify that. How do you start and stop the recording? That's a good one. Let me share my screen. So you'll see over here there's a red circle. That lets you know that the meeting is being recorded. If you click on the ellipsis here and you see stop recording, that's because we're currently recording. This will say start recording. So you click start. You can either stop the recording midway through it, or you, at the end, when you end the meeting, it will automatically stop the recording. Okay. Judith is jumping back in that her internet dropped and she's working on it. Okay, Cheryl, you got that figured out. Is there in Zoom, can we pause recordings? Is that possible in Teams? I do know that we have stopped and restarted. I do not believe there is a pause. I believe it will make two different recordings, but we will double check on that as well. And it looks like some are having problems with the PowerPoint, so I will email out the PowerPoint to all of the participants after this today. I don't think I missed any questions. Oh, you can pause recordings, Miss Judith has put in the chat. And I'm sure she will put in how we will pause and restart the recordings. Oh,
I'm back. I'm on my phone. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened. My Surface Pro just dropped. So
there was an app you showed that said Zoom and Share. Can you explain that? It was in that same last slide.
Sure. The Zoom and Share feature is going to be a way for you to actually zoom into your computer screen if you want to zero in on some information. So if you hit the control, which is the bottom left-hand button on your keyboard, and then over, there's a Windows tab. It's 4 white boxes that looks like the Windows window. If you click Control Windows and then click the plus sign, it'll zoom in. And then if you click Control Windows minus sign, it'll zoom out. So you can actually pull information in or out to zoom in or out on information that you might want to zero in on while presenting.
Do we have any other questions?
We will definitely make this recording available, and know that we do have some pre-recorded videos as well on these sessions that might be a little more graceful to watch. And so we'll also create links for you all on those. Those are also in the MS Teams Experiential Playground channel, so we would love to share that with you all as well. Ms. Turner, do you have a question? I see your virtual hand raised.
I think that one was from earlier.
Okay, just making sure.
Anybody else have any questions?
Do we have access? Yes, you will, to the
Yes.
experiential playground. Yes, you will.
You should receive an email that I have added you to the experiential playground team. And I did that during the session today. If you do not have it, please reach out to me and I will look into it. Thank you, Catherine, and we will definitely be producing more sessions based more on the tips and tricks as well.
I'm really wondering if I would love to partner with the ASL department and do some on accessibility. I'd love to put that thought out there with you all to see how we can create a guided recording to troubleshoot some of the things that happened at the top of this training. So I'm inviting that collaboration right now. If anyone wants to hit us up.
Said she will love. We would love that.
Yes, we really need that. That's really important.
More on using the classroom. Cheryl, that is a wonderful thing, and James Gills in the Center for Teaching and Learning is going to be putting out some MS Teams training specific for instructors. They are our counterparts, and I know he's feverishly working on it. Brenda, can Teams replace Blackboard? Well,
I think that's going to happen. Not yet, but that's what we're hoping. Okay, so I also want to point out our ideal time for this training is 4 to 6 hours. So we know we packed a punch in 90 minutes, but we hope that this was a good intro. We will be sharing marketing information for future sessions. So yes, Brenda, I see you, I hear you, and all those lovely exclamation points. We definitely will be offering more. We know that we need to also create space for you all just to play. And so one thing that the PD department, Jennifer and I are actually taking notes on everything that's been happening in today's training and over the last month. We're going to be creating some interactive assignments so that when we're inside a training, you all are actually applying everything as well. Any other questions? Now I just want to know if Debbie McIntyre is a Leo with that lion, because I'm a Leo. I don't know if she can hear me.
Yes.
Woo! What's your birthday? What's your birthday?
In 3 days.
Oh, cool. I'm August 5th and my wild child is August 10th. So we just had a big birthday month over here at my house.
Yeah, we have, my daughter is August 14 and I'm August 21.
Oh, nice. So she stole your birthday thunder for life, too.
Right. Great things happened in August, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's another August
with my oldest.
Oh, yay, Brenda. Well, welcome to the Leo Club, August 3rd.
Actually, that lion is more representative of, I might come off as fierce and strong, but I'm not near as strong and fierce as I need to be, and I need to be able to look up for my strength.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, awesome. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, well, with that, we'll go ahead and leave today's meeting, but know that we will be sharing more information with you all. And I'm sincere about that, working together on an accessibility training. And I just want to say thank you all for your patience, for your interest, for your engagement, and for your communication. And Jennifer, great job. Thanks for being my co-pilot today. Okay. Oh, do you have to do something in the Learn Center?
No, I will take care of it for you.
Yeah, we got y'all.
Just pull the participants for me.
Yes. I think Dr. Laredo's working behind the scenes to also follow up on that as well.
Awesome.
How can we ask, what's that question? How can we ask quick questions? Do you mean as you're using MS Teams? You could always chat me, Brenda. I have no problem helping you. You could also chat Jennifer really quick, but you can also go into the experiential playground and drop a post there because we monitor that as well. But I am very happy to just chat me up on MS Teams or give me a quick phone call. Jennifer's posting our contact information. All right. Well, y'all have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you so much. And even better, have a wonderful Connections Week. We're so happy everyone's back. And we can't wait for the fall semester to start next Monday. So thank you. Thank you. Peace be with each of you. And we'll see you soon.
Good luck next week.
Yes. Good luck. See you later.